If you are considering new construction homes in South Florida, I have one for you today. Today we are in the fastest growing city in Florida. We are in Westlake, and we are going to be looking at the orchards of Westlake. My name is Ray Fernandez. I'm with Living in Palm Beach, Florida, powered by eXp Realty. Welcome. If this is your first time to our channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button there over in the corner. While you're at it, ring that bell. What that'll do is that'll notify you each time we put out a new video. We put out new videos every single week. So if you're wondering what it's like to eat, sleep, and drink here in this beautiful part of the world we call Florida, when I say Florida, anywhere in Florida, this is a channel for you. 16 years ago, my family and I relocated to here in South Florida, and we haven't looked back. Today, we truly find an honor to help people, perhaps like you, do the exact same thing. So if you have questions about what's involved, whether it's here in South Florida, anywhere in Florida, and you want to hear some advice from people who've actually done this before, well, there's a few ways to get a hold of us. Down below is our email address. That's one great way. Also on the screen, you see our phone number. You can either call or text that number. Two of the best ways is in the description and the comment section. There is a link. Click on that link. Well, that'll do set up some time for us to speak, either through a phone call or through a Zoom, whatever way you feel most comfortable. In any case, we have your back when it comes to relocating to here to sunny South Florida. We help so many people relocate to Florida, and we absolutely love it. So here we are in Westlake. This is our #1 community that we get asked questions about. In fact, all our active pending transactions right now, a lot of them come from this area in Westlake. Westlake is basically right now, here we are in 2023, they're divided into two sections. The one is called the Estates. We did a video on that. That is a higher end of Westlake, about 70 homes. But probably the most popular section of the most popular, fastest growing city is the orchards of Westlake. These days, it's a little bit easier to get real estate than it was like right after the pandemic when we had auctions and all kinds of crazy stuff. It is still very busy here. We wrote more contracts last week than we've had in literally 2 years. So it's incredibly busy. Unfortunately, the process is a lot easier. Way back when things when they were leasing here and there was a shortage in terms of supplies and labor, there were wait lists here at this community. There's gone are the days of wait lists, but it is still pretty hard. We had a client that got in this community actually just a few days ago, and he did it by clicking on the email that came out. So they still have an element of what that craziness was about. But if you want to know what it takes to navigate that whole wait list, or that whole to get a lot and to get into this great community, this very popular community, reach out to our team. We would love to help you. There was a time when they were selling both the orchards and selling the estates, that this was the most popular and no one was going for the estates, primarily because the estates is more money. It still is more money. The estates right now is just about sold out. When I last checked with the people over at Minto, which is the builder, Minto's the builder, there was literally 5 spaces, 5 lots available. That was a week ago. It would not surprise me if the estates are 100% sold out. Here we are today. The reason why the orchards is more popular, it is less expensive. The lots of land over at the estates were big. And so people were paying money. You would pay something in the order of $150,000 per lot. And some people just don't have don't want to spend that kind of money. You don't need to spend that kind of money here. They did a release here yesterday actually, and the most expensive lot, which my client got, most expensive lot was $65,000. So you can get in here for less money than the estates. Having said that, when we're talking about the differences between lots and the prices of lots, reach out to our team. We'd love to give you advice, because lots of times that little bit of extra, whether it's $5,000-$10,000, it would mean a ton when it comes to resales. We can help guide you if you're thinking about whether it's here at Westlake or any new construction community. We'd love to give you guidance on what would make the most sense. We have some communities nearby, actually up in Avenir right now, that they have lots for sale in the multiple hundreds of thousands. In fact, if you go up to La Thierry, which is getting close to selling out right now, they have a lot for $350,000. So again, it depends on the community. The builders all have their strategy. Sometimes they price the lots higher or lower and put it in the homes. But in any event, this community is selling fast. It's because between the lot and between the home, there is tremendous value, we feel, in my opinion, when it comes to buying a home here in Westlake, Florida. The type of people that buy here in Westlake are, I like to call it non-HOA people. They have an HOA, which I think is really good. I think HOAs are good. They help keep, like if someone's not mowing their lawn, and see how beautiful the landscape is? If someone's not mowing their lawn, they'll take care of that. If someone's doing something funky with their house, they'll make sure that's taken care of. So in any event, I think HOA gives you a fair amount of protection. But one of the reasons why Westlake, I feel, is very popular is the HOA is very lean. There's a couple reasons why that is in fact the case. So here at Westlake, when everything's said and done, there is going to be a total of 4,000 homes. That's one of the reasons why the HOA is so low. You're able to spread the cost of the HOA over many more homes. In fact, they are pricing the HOA based exactly on that, as if the 400 homes are already built. So that's why the HOA is low. Between the Master Association and the sub-HOA, like as an example, the Orchards is a sub-HOA. Over there is the Meadows. That's another sub-HOA. Between the two of them, you will only spend about $100 per month for your homeowners association fees. And the amenities, well, of course you're not going to get the elaborate amenities that you get in a place where you spend $700, which some places in Florida do have, but they have this thing called the Adventure Park. The Adventure Park is quite a good benefit. It's for the whole city of Westlake. So whether you live in the Meadows, or whether you live in the Orchards, or whether you live in the Estates, or the Hammocks, or any other section here in Westlake, you have access to the Adventure Park. And if you go there, I tell you, if you go to the Adventure Park on like a Saturday or a day where kids are off at school, God forbid, that place is rocking. One of the other things that they're building there at the Adventure Park is an adult pool, because sometimes people want a little bit of sanity. As a parent, and me being a parent of 3, from time to time you want some quiet time. So they are building the adult pool. It's actually, I'm told a couple days ago, that it's just about finished. They were also working on basketball courts that are just about finished. So for the most part, here we are in 2023, all the amenities are for the most part finished here in Westlake, Florida. Walking over to the Mailbank. So in Florida today, there's a rule now that they don't want mailboxes in the area. So this is the way you pick up your mail today. You get a little mailbox key and you do this. I think it's sort of nice. It's gone over days of having mailboxes in front of the houses, and I sort of think that's a good thing. I have a new construction home. It's a little bit older. We still have mailboxes. They keep getting hit by cars. I don't know how it happens, but they seem to keep getting hit by cars. But this is a more efficient way of doing things. And right now in Florida, it is a law if you have a new construction home to do it, in fact, this way. Okay, I'm on one of the streets here at the Orchards. Here's a typical home that you find here. So the homes here are built. They're built very strong in terms of code. As you probably know or heard, we do get hurricanes here in South Florida from time to time, and because of that, the building code here in Florida is a lot higher than most places. They call the construction of these homes CBS block, which is basically concrete. I mean, it might not look like it, but they have a concrete. You also get certain elevations. So One of the things they do is they have this thing called monotony code. So they don't want these houses to look identical. They will not put the same model next to each other here at Westlake, Florida. In fact, they won't even have the same elevation. They want to make sure that the homes don't look cookie cutter, but I tell you, they look beautiful in my book. That home is made strong. Again, it's CBS. Some people call it stucco. I met a client recently who said up north stucco is a bad word. It's not a positive word. Didn't know that. I'm going to try to not use it. Leave a comment down below if you have heard that. But in any event, I'm pretty sure it's safe to say that these are built with CBS block. Trust me, these homes are made for like storms of like $150,000. That's the test they put through when you buy a home here in South Florida. So they have at Minto, the builder here, they have 3 collections. The Atlantic collection is the highest one. That's for the homes of the estates, which is their higher end. I mentioned the land is more. The models are also more too. I mean, you could literally spend about $1 million in the estates. You don't need to spend that here at the Orchards. You can get in here in Westlake here in the Orchards for something the sweet spot is sort of like the $600,000 or $700,000. One of the reasons they're selling so well is because the price point for new construction here is more compelling here than literally any place else in the area. They are using the Cypress and Indigo collections here at Westlake. So let me tell you this. I need to say this right here. If you walk into their sales center down there on your own, you're absolutely crazy. We recommend here at Living in Palm Beach, Florida, is to get independent representation when it comes to looking at homes. What that means is you bring your realtor with you. Because if you go directly into the sales center on your own, you're basically walking and negotiating directly with the seller, and all the terms are in their court, so to speak. We help keep them accountable. We have a transaction coordinating team that makes sure that their things look proper. Again, we keep them accountable. Cost to you out of pocket as a buyer when you're buying through using us is zero. It's the builder who pays us, and they are happy to pay us because at the end of the day, they are happy for us to introduce people, perhaps like you, move to their beautiful areas. So here at the Orchards, they have two phases. We are currently in phase 2. Phase 1 is just about completely sold out. I'm literally in this community every week. Because, as I mentioned, we have more pending homes here than ever than any other community. It's because of that price point. They are selling currently phase 2 homes here at the Orchards, and altogether they're about 55% sold here in the Orchards. So they have a total of 599 homes here in the Orchards. They have walked through these developments sort of piece by piece. They started with the hammocks, they have the groves, they have the meadows across the way. This is the Orchards, and there is more. When all is said and done, they will build another community after this. People lots of times will hear, well, let me just wait for the next one. I'll tell you this, they're raising prices. So we had a bit of a slower period at the end of last year, but I'll tell you, we've been so busy here since 2023 that there have been price increases, not just with Minto, but most builders have been the norm so far this year. So I had to use my cheat sheet for these notes. I want to know what communities were built when. So the first one was the hammocks. Then there was the meadows, which is that one across the street I was telling you. Then they have the groves. This is the Orchards. We told you about the estates. There's also a community called the Crossings, which I think is rather unique. If you want a townhome that is like really fairly inexpensive, you can get a townhome, no lot price, all in, somewhere in the mid 400s in the Crossings. That is a good value. So we find when people move here, and they sometimes will now have their friends move here, might not have as healthy a budget, or their kids, as an example, might not as healthy of a budget. Well, if that's the case, they'll look at the Crossings, and those townhomes are beautiful. I need to do a video on them one day soon. So there's a couple of questions we get asked often when it comes to any of these communities. Is safety, how safe is it? How are the schools? We get asked those questions regularly. Schools here are good. The elementary and the middle school are both A-rated, relatively new schools. Seminole Ridge is the high school. It didn't start out as high-rated, but our experience is when when you start when communities start growing, like all the teachers want to move to those areas, and all the resources from the county get thrown into those areas. So in general, when you're looking at new communities, some of the best resources go to them, and their ratings, the standings increase as well. So that's the schools. Here is their gate. So one of the things they do, I talked about HOA and keeping it down. This is like a virtual gate. So when this community is finished, you will go over there. Right now it's open because there's so much construction through here, but you will go over through there, and then you will put your code in, or you give your guest a code, and that's how you get in. It's not a man's gate. It's one of the ways they help to keep the HOA fee lower. You know, it's one of the neat things I find when I'm here in these communities is that people recognize me. In fact, the consultant I use often, that's the other thing, I get to that in a second, just waved. One of the other things about coming and approaching these new construction communities, it is really important which consultant you use. In all my new construction communities, I try to figure out who the best consultant is at each. I want to work exclusively with them. Please don't call, and whether it's Westlake or anywhere, don't call into their office directly. Come to our office or a place like us, because what happens is they use something like, when you buy a car, it's called like the UPS system. So if you call in and want to say, I have questions about Westlake, whoever answers the phone, in other words, who is up next, that is your consultant, and you cannot change it after that. What we help you do is we sort of expedite and we prioritize your standing with them, and what we do is we work with the consultants we feel work very, very hard. I like hardworking people. People call me the hardest working agent in South Florida. I like to work with the hardest working people at Westlake. I like to work with the hardest working people at Avenir and so forth. So don't call in directly, because we can help set you up with the right consultant, whether it's Westlake or any of these other new construction communities. As I mentioned, sometimes people recognize me when I'm walking through here. It's funny. It's like, you're the guy. You're that real estate guy. You're the living in Palm Beach guy. Well, if that's you, if you've seen me around town, leave a comment down below. Even more so, if you live here and you're watching this video, if you live in the orchards, if you live in the estates, and you have people that you are considering moving here, give them my name. Leave a comment down below too. But yes, we would love to help your friends move here. We find that once people move here, they end up telling their friends, and it's like a chain reaction. They tell their parents come, and all that kind of thing. We would love to help you move into this beautiful area that we call the Orchards of Westlake, Florida. This is one of the newest communities in our area. This is one of the fastest growing cities in all of Florida. So if you want to know more about Westlake, reach out to our team at Living in Palm Beach, Florida. The Orchards, Westlake, paradise here in South Florida.